Welcome back to Behind the Caution Tape. I'm your host, CrashLit, coming to you from day 2 of Big Ten Volleyball Media Days. I was there to cover it and talk about the upcoming season for USC women's volleyball. Before I get into the Trojans, I do just want to generalize the whole event because I was there for both days and just talk about kind of the topics that I heard most of the coaches talking about throughout the event. On day 1, we heard from Illinois, Penn State, Maryland, Northwestern, Rutgers, Minnesota, Purdue, Indiana, and Nebraska. And then some of the issues that were really heavily talked about on day 1 were just the house settlement and how that money will be allocated to athletes throughout the in Big Ten volleyball. It's definitely interesting to see how each coach is going to take it, especially what each department athletic department will provide for them. And then also a couple things of interest I noticed was Penn State showing off their national championship rings. And then also Indiana coach Steve Ayer talking about the addition of beach volleyball players to his roster for Indiana. And I found that particularly interesting given the addition of Delaney Maple from USC Beach for last season, and then the addition of Jessie Smith from UCLA Beach Volleyball this season. So I just found that as a point of interesting, especially with Delaney Maple being a USC alum herself. On day 2, we heard from Michigan, Oregon, Iowa, Michigan State, USC, Washington, Ohio State, UCLA, and Wisconsin. So house settlement was also a recurring topic throughout the event. But then also a lot of schools talked about recruiting international players, which I thought was super interesting in this new era of college athletics. So that was just something that I definitely took away from that. And then a couple of things of interesting I've heard was new Oregon head coach Trent Kirsten having high praise for Brad Keller from when Kirsten was a player at UCLA and Keller was on John Spurraw's staff with the men's team there. So I just found that really interesting. And now let's move on. That's a perfect lead us into USC women's volleyball, which is the primary reason I was here. Like I said, I just wanted to recap what I'd heard throughout the last few days. But really, obviously, the heavy focus is USC. So we'll start with the press conference, which featured head coach Brad Keller, redshirt junior outside hitter Adonia Faumuina, and redshirt sophomore middle blocker Leah Ford. Overall, I thought that it was a great press conference, and it was just definitely interesting to hear them talk about everything from just the new freshmen coming in to the returners to the house settlement, and just everything that's been going on with just how college athletics is changing, like I've been saying. I think the thing that I really took away that I asked Brad Keller as well as Adonia and Leah about was just the travel, just what they learned from that first year in the Big Ten, now that they've got a year under their belt and know what the travel is going to be like going forward. So without further ado, here is what all three of them had to say about that.
Yeah, last year I said we didn't know what we didn't know. Well, now we know what we know. We studied a lot of these teams. We got to play them. There are a lot of different styles. How we're going to play, we're going to change as well. We have to keep adapting and keep pushing our tempo and playing faster, more physical, and smarter in a lot of ways, which I think will allow us to lead points out of opponents, hopefully, is the way that I look at it. The game has changed drastically in the world, and so we have to keep up with that style and how they play, what they do, and how they talk and act. The teams are very, very different across the board, so it's just going to be more about what we do in our gym to prep for them, and then obviously you're scouting and doing other things, but a lot of the stuff that we need to train is what they should be doing on the other side of the net, and so we don't really have to talk about it, we're just going to work on those things.
Like Brad said, the play is different, moving from Pac-12 to Big Ten. Definitely more competitive, bigger crowds, but having a year of experience now, I think we're great. We loved it and really enjoyed it. The travel aspect, we got that down. It wasn't too big of a deal for us. It wasn't like a factor that affected us, so yeah.
Yeah, last year we were excited to go into something new, and I think we're ready this year and going into different places like Penn State, Minnesota. Yeah, just really excited for this level of play that's about to come this next month. So
We're a very different team too now.
from listening to that, it becomes really clear that USC's learned a lot from this offseason, and especially I think it was just really interesting to just see how both Keller, Faumuina, and Ford all just talked about what they've learned and how they're not fazed by it, but also they're ready for it, and also to see the new Big Ten arenas, and just also really interesting. The other interesting thing that really stood out to me was what Brad Keller said about not being happy. I mean, well, being happy with being, I quote, I think he said that he was talking about happy being about being in the preseason rankings being ranked sixth by the coaches, but how that's not the end goal, which I really think shows like the aspirations of both him and for the program to be contending for national titles every year. And that was something that really stood out to me when I interviewed him one-on-one earlier today, was just how that's the standard of it. So I think it was a really great interview with him. It was I had him for about 3, 4, or 5 minutes, but it was definitely a lot to be able to just get to talk to him one-on-one, just ask him about kind of just what's upcoming and just some of the key things that I've noted that have changed since this offseason, especially with the departures of both Mia Tuaniga at setter and Ali Batenhorst at outside hitter. So here is my conversation one-on-one with Brad Keller earlier today. Coach, thanks so much for coming on to Behind the Caution Tape today here at Big Ten Media Days.
It's good to see you again, man.
Yeah, good to see you too, Coach. And I'd like to start by asking about USC did lose 2 big playmakers last year with Mia Tuaniga and Ali Batenhorst. Who are you hoping to see step up and really fill the voids that they're going to leave in the lineup?
These two right here.
All right, Adonia, Leah, of course. And
others, actually. There's going to be a handful of people that contribute. I feel like we're very athletic. I feel like we have a lot of firepower. I think there's going to be how creative and fast can we go and still get good wood on the ball or good contact.
And then how have you seen your team respond to the addition of Blossom Sato to your coaching staff this offseason?
She's terrible. No, I'm kidding. No, Blossom is a tremendous asset to our program. I've wanted to be around her for a long time, coaching-wise, and had an opportunity to bring her on. She's a very mellow presence, under control. Nothing rattles her, and she knows she's a Sato. The Satos know a lot of things about volleyball, so pretty excited about this.
USC is going to be on national TV 8 times this season. Mm-hmm. What makes you really excited to see that, and just what's especially with the growth of volleyball over the last few years?
Well, really excited about the growth of volleyball in general. I mean, I think a lot of what we do is trying to expand this game, and you're seeing it all over the country. Our fan base has exploded. You've been to our games. It's gone up thousands of people every single year, so we continue to grow it. So building the brand and growing it that way, making sure our outreach programs are intact, so we're helping the youth and sport, and making sure we have a great product as far as great culture and great speed of the game.
How have you seen the incoming freshman class really just buy into the culture that you've been building, especially here in your 6th season?
So I got asked that a little while ago, and I had to think about this. So I know the answer now. I think when you want to build something really good, it takes a long time to do it, because you have to teach all those little small things that matter. How you run your own practice, how you take care of yourself, how you speak to each other, all these culture type things that are, some people don't pay attention to it, but they're like hygiene. You have to keep working on these things every day when they become habitual. And then when you bring in freshmen, you make sure you recruit people that are into that as well or want to be a part of that. And you just turn over to your seniors or upperclassmen, and they do the job for you.
And then USC made it to the round of 32 last year. What's it going to take this year to get to that second weekend of the tournament?
So I've said this a couple times. If we're not competing for national championships, then it's a failure. And I know that sounds harsh, but I loved the team last year. It was a great season altogether, but it comes down to winning. And round of 32 is not it. More consistency and better play for longer periods of time, right? So more consistency with that. And a lot of that is shot selection and dig to kill is what we're going to need to work on.
A final question. I think you know this already. What are you most looking forward to this season, Coach?
Honestly, just being with this group of young women. They have been awesome. I love my coaching staff. I love what we're building here at USC. And we get to go travel and go to new places. I've never been to Iowa. I've never been to Michigan State. You know, these are different spots. And the Big Ten is such a cool entity. And so I'm so happy that we're a part of it.
On that one note, do you have a arena that you're excited or a team you're excited to play this year on the road in the Big Ten?
Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota for sure. I mean, Wisconsin, we're playing on the road in Penn State, but I've been to those venues, so I know what that is, but I've never been in Minnesota's gym, and it's been a big entity for a long time. They've been a big program.
Coach, thank you for joining us here on Behind the Caution Tape. Best of luck this season. Be sure to follow him on Instagram at Coach Brad Keller.
Yep, and
Fight
follow
on.
him. Fight on.
As you can tell from that interview, Brad Keller is not settling for anything less than winning at a high level. And just like he said, coming obviously, like as you heard in the clip, that he said coming in, making it to the round of 32 is nice, but it's just not where they want to be. So he said, like he said in the interview, anything less than that is kind of not exactly where he wants to be and not exactly successful. So I thought that was just really interesting to just hear his championship aspirations for USC. And then in addition, I also did enjoy hearing how he talked about just getting to visit new Big Ten arenas, as you heard in the clip. So I thought that was just interesting how it's just, and that's been one of the cool things to follow with this team is just the new opponents coming to Galen, but then also the new away arenas USC gets to go to as a result of being in the Big Ten, while still, having some traditional rivalries with UCLA, of course, 4's down, but then also Oregon and Washington. So I think it's been really cool to see all the opponents who've come in and also see where USC has gotten to go in conference play. In addition, I next talked to Leah Ford, which I thought was really cool, just especially as she's, going to likely be playing a lot more and competing, and just hearing what she had to say was really cool. And I really enjoyed our conversation. So without further ado, conversation with Leah Ford. Leah, thank you for joining me on Behind the Caution Tape today.
Thank you.
So I want to now ask you, you've had some opportunities to start and see some playing time over the past couple of years since you've joined USC, but how did that prepare you for, taking that next jump and really competing and getting opportunities to start pretty consistently this year?
Definitely. I think I was able to look up to the people that were starting and see what I needed to do to get to that position. And now that I'm at the position, I'm ready and I'm eager to go after it.
Was there anyone in particular you looked up to in that regard?
I'd say Skylar Fields and her leadership, also Mia Tuininga.
Absolutely. And then from your perspective as a player, how have you and your teammates responded to the addition of Blossom Sato to the coaching staff?
Yes, we love her. It's great having another woman coach on our staff. It's really easy to relate to her, and we love having her, yeah.
And which of your new teammates, especially from the freshmen, but then also the one transfer, have really impressed you so far this offseason, and why?
Definitely Reese Messer. She's a freshman from Kansas. She's insane. She's really, really good, and she's really surprised me. I'm really excited to see what she does this season.
And finally, I want to ask you, what are you just most excited about for this season?
I'm just excited to see our chemistry and how we mesh and see how far we can go. I think we're going to be really scrappy, a really good team, and I'm really excited.
Leah Ford, thank you so much for joining me on Behind the Caution Tape. Best of luck to this offseason. Be sure to give her a follow on Instagram at LeahF24.
Thank you.
Fight on.
Fight on. As
you can hear from the interview, Leah is obviously really excited for this team. Has a lot of confidence in the potential of it, and especially in everything that USC has going for it right now. So it's definitely really exciting to hear her perspective. And then finally, I got to interview Adonia Faumuina. And Adonia, that was definitely an interesting one, especially considering this is her fourth year with the program now. And she also has just been around and, has gotten a lot of, experience, and now is really stepping into a big leadership role. And especially considering also she was named to the preseason all Big Ten team. So I think that's really big for her, but also just the way she's handling, I think is really impressive and mature. So without further ado, the interview with Adonia Faumuina. Thank you for joining me here today, Adonia.
Thank you so much, Crash. Thanks for having me.
I want to start off by asking you, were the lone USC player to make all Big Ten preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Does that add any pressure to how you feel this year, and what was it like to find out?
Well, when I found out, Leah actually announced it to the entire trainer's room, and I was like, oh, okay. And I literally just followed up, yeah, whatever. But no, I thought it was like a cool accolade to have, and it's just adds more fuel to the fire to start the season.
As a leader this year, how have you seen just the freshmen buy into the culture that you like as a leader, and also just the coaching staff and everyone just in the program has been building over the last 6 years under Brad Keller?
So when the freshmen came in, they were so eager to learn. They were so excited to, just get back in the gym and try to rep everything out, try to learn our system. And they've just been sponges throughout this whole process. And yeah, they come to us for anything and everything. And they're going to be really exciting to watch this year.
Are there any Big Ten venues you're really excited to go to this offseason, and why?
I'd say I'm excited to go to Penn State. I think, well, I've heard that it's been pretty loud, and also I heard Fieldhouse was loud too at Wisconsin. So I think they're going to be pretty cool atmospheres to play under. So.
Well, you'll check both off this year.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
my final question is, what are you most looking forward to this season?
I think I'm looking forward to the new girls like coming in and just showing like who we are as a team, because we have a pretty young team this year, and yeah.
Adonia Faumuina, thank you so much for joining me on Behind the Caution Tape. Best of luck this season. Be sure to follow her on Instagram at Adonia Faumuina.
Right.
Fight on.
Fight on.
What really impressed me from the interview with Adonia was just how she just talked about how excited the freshmen were to get in the gym with the team and just start practicing, especially considering I think only Taylor Decker and Abigail Mullen enrolled early in school have been practicing with the team since January. But other than that, everyone else on the roster is coming in for the first time this summer. So it's definitely really interesting to see how just her perspective on that and just what she's looking forward to, as you heard from the interview. But really, like I said, this was just so much fun to cover this event this last 2 days here in Chicago at the Big Ten Networks. It's been really great. So thank you again to Brad Keller, Adonia Faumuina, and Leah Ford for giving me your time today on the interviews. And thank you also to Jeremy Wu for helping me coordinate all the interviews, as well as to Ashley Harding for helping facilitate things as well. So like I said, I had a great time this week covering it. I look forward to putting this podcast episode out. It was definitely a fun one. It's definitely obviously different than what you've traditionally seen, but I think that's a good thing. I'm excited to just, try to, integrate new ways to my content, especially on the podcast here in season 2 of Behind the Caution Tape. So that's going to do it for us here on Behind the Caution Tape. Thank you again so much to everyone who's been tuning in and supporting. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, follow wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to just keep listening and enjoying these episodes, and share them if you really are enjoying them. It's definitely really fun to put this content out for you all. So, and be sure to follow me at CrashLit. Be sure to be at USC women's volleyball's first opening match on August 29th when they host Denver to open the season. That'll be at Friday at 7 p.m. on the Big Ten Plus. And definitely it's going to be an exciting year, especially with USC having 8 matches on national TV this year. So be sure to tune in all season long for this team and fight on.